All right, you guys, if you're out there, I'm doing some last few minutes finishing up to have this great study and discussion with you regarding the leadership development and the Proverbs 31 woman, how to find an excellent spouse. It's going to be a two-parter, you guys, and I'm going to invite my wife to come in and my son. We're about to have ourselves a ball in this experience in space. All right. I encourage you to go get your friends, let them know. In 1 minute, we're going to start our show, The Antidote. Yeah. Going to the next level on this one, guys. Trying to get that right one. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Welcome to The Antidote. We are in season 1, episode 31. We've been studying the book of Proverbs, ancient wisdom for modern times, motivational wisdom that we can use in a daily basis. And we're now at the last episode of the first season. Oh yeah, we're going to come back with it and do more with it. But right now we're at the last episode and we're going to have some discussion about how to train up a young leader, mother's advice about how to train up a young leader, and the Proverbs 31 woman. Like I said, we're coming from the book of Proverbs, the 31st chapter. So if you have Proverbs, I would encourage you to go get your Bible and look it up, because it's going to be wonderful. Yes. So let us get everything in place. We are excited about what God's going to do with us today. I'm excited about inviting my special guest today. I think it will bless you. And the whole idea is for us to go ahead on and give you some insights about how and what to do in terms of how do you use this book of Proverbs. So I want to give you in my parting view, I want to give you an example of what it looks like when we do it right. This is the scripture, Proverbs. The words of Lemuel. The words of Lemuel. Let's see if there's a definition. So this first part says that there's nothing known about King Lemuel aside from this mention in the book of Proverbs. Jewish legend identifies him as Solomon, making this advice from his mother, Bathsheba, but there's no evidence for that. The passage is the only direct address to a king in the book of Proverbs, something that was the norm in wisdom literature of the ancient world, addressing the king. But this is the only one that's directly related to it. Let me see if I could find something. I'm going to use the Blue Letter Bible quickly. The Blue Letter Bible is an app that I use. I highly recommend that you use this app. It's a powerful tool. And no, I don't want the app. I just want to get the download. I don't want the app. I want to get the download. So let me come out of here. And it's a powerful tool. What I use this tool, you can look up every word in the Bible from the Blue Letter Bible. And it's going to be translated and explained some kind of way. I'm curious about what the name Lemuel means. "31, can hardly believe We've been working on this for over a month, and now we're here. Let's see what God has for us in this final thing. Let's see. Here's the word Lemuel. I'm going to see if there's a definition for that word. The name. Uh-oh. There might be. There might be. Lemuel. Oh, the word means for God. The name of an unknown king to whom his mother addressed the prudential maxims contained in some of the Proverbs. It means it's from a two-letter, it's a two L. Here's God. It's L and Lamin. Let me see what Lamin means. Lamin. Of four. All right, prophetic four. Okay, of four. Oh my goodness. So it says the proverb is of Lemuel, right? I should get how to pronounce it because they usually pronounce it.
Strong's H 3927. Lemuel.
Lemuel.
Second entry. Lemuel.
What it means is for God. So this is a young king who was named for God. His parents did what I did for our children, set them aside for God. So if this is for the words of king for God, an oracle. Now, what is an oracle? Some English versions write tested oracle here to replace the name. I talked about what an oracle was yesterday, so I want you to go look at that on the on yesterday's episode 30. I defined it, but in essence, an oracle is a prophet or a person that people come to get supernatural advice and understanding. That's an oracle, right? And so this is the words of King Lemuel. This is an oracle. This is a prophetic word that his mother is giving him so that he might be able to succeed in life as a king, as a young leader. His mother taught him, "O son of my womb." I love how she talks. "O son of my womb." Let me see if I can get it another verse so I can look at it. "O son of my womb." "O son of my womb." Let me get it. "O son of my womb." First of all, you know it's her child, right? "O my son, and O my son of my womb, and what, O son of my vows?" The vows that she made to her husband and to her father. This is the son that I gave birth to. I gave vows to God for this child. I gave vows to the people I was going to be around that I'm going to take care of this child. "O son of my womb." Now, first of all, she's saying this, don't give your strength. She starts with a negative confession. Don't give your strength. Don't give away your strength. Don't give away your strength to who? All right, I'm glad you asked. "O son of my womb." Don't give away your strength to women, nor your ways to that which ruins kings. Don't be a womanizer. Although you have all this power, don't be giving your strength to a womanizer. And one thing about giving the strength is spilling your seed or having sexual intercourse. Don't give that up to all these kind of women. And next thing you know, you'll be weak, and then you have to pay all this alimony. I mean, not alimony, child support. Don't do it. It weakens your authority. "O son of my womb." Don't give your women to. Don't give it to women. All right. And then she says after that, he says, or don't give your ways to that which destroys kings. There is behavior, there is activity, foolish behavior and activity. We went through that through episodes 1 through 30. All the things that a king should not do as a good leader. So she's building on that. She's building on that strength and all the things that she's talked to her son about. And she's saying, don't give your strength to women, and don't give your strength to the ways of the wicked, the fool, the ungodly. Don't do that, son. This is what I want you to do. It said, and she says this. Here's another warning. She said, look, in verse 4, "It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine." Did you know that? Wine is not good for kings. And here's the reason why. They talk about why. Don't give your strength to kings, or don't give yourself to wine. Where's my notebook? Oh, here it is. Don't give your strength to wine, all right? Because that's going to be a problem. Because if you give your strength to wine, it causes you to forget. And I thought it was very interesting about how it talks about. It says, Don't give it to wine because it causes you to forget. We don't want to be forgetful. So if we drink too much wine, we may forget. Now let me go to my sharing screen. I thought you were seeing me, but here we go. Do not give your, it is not for kings, leaders, and we don't really have kings anymore, but it's not for young leaders, O Lemuel, O son of God. It is not for kings to drink wine, right? Or for rulers to crave strong drink. Why, you may ask, is that? I'm glad you asked. Here it is. The reason why is that lest they drink and forget what was decreed and remove all from the poor, their legal rights. You don't want to drink because you might forget the things that is set in place for the poor and the needy in your environment. You might forget your decree. Let's see if we can get a little bit more help on this. Oh yeah, yeah. So you don't get drunk and drinking wine because it might cause you to reverse your decrees or your teachings or your laws that you put down or your ways regarding dealing with the poor, right? And the poor are all children of poverty, not just whatever kind of poverty all over the world. Don't get drunk and do that. Let me go back because I don't think we did a little bit about, because it might give us a little bit more clarity about what these things are. Drink wine. Let's see what wine says. This second warning for kings concerns the use of alcohol. If this passage is meant to prohibit any use of alcohol by kings, it would be unheard of in any ancient royal court. Because kings do drink, y'all. They drink. But it's not about just not using any wine. It's unheard of. Here it is. But what is probably meant is an excessive and unwarranted use of alcohol, or a troubling need for it, so that the meaning is to drink wine in excess. So, young king of God, don't drink wine in excess. All right. Now you got that? That's more clearer, right? Because all right. And then another one, it says to guzzle wine. Somebody interpreted, don't guzzle wine. Don't drink too much. The danger, of course, would be the excessive use of alcohol would cloud the mind and deprive a king of true administrative ability and justice. That's why she doesn't want you to do it, because she don't want you to forget. She don't want your mind to be clouded and you forget how to do right and be justly, because you now a drunken fool. Not good. It's not a good look, young leader. Not a good look. So it's right from the start. You see, she's teaching them to have some discipline and to be mindful of what to do. Don't do it. So now they're talking about strong drink, probably refers to barley beer. I don't know about that. Now, drinking wine and drink. For me, as I modernize this, it's not. Don't get high too much. Okay, because I don't know a lot of young people who are drinking wine. There are some, but don't get that cannabis that's so strong that you can't move. That stunning cannabis, you get so high you can't even move. You're paranoid. Don't use drugs that are too strong for you, that cause you to forget and lose your good judgment. You don't need to be dropping mollies and stuff like that and trying to lead and be a leader in your community. It's not good. Be mindful of that. Be careful of that, because it's going to ruin your ability to be a leader, right? At least the drink cause you to, least they drink and forget what is decreed and change the laws that protect the legal people, or change the things that your mama and daddy taught you on how to be right and good to people, to make right judgments and make legal judgments. All right. The next thing is, don't do that look, she says, don't don't be excessive drug use or alcohol use or anything that intoxicates you. Don't do that for you. But there are some people who should get this thing, whatever it is that kind of causes you to release and forget. Let them, she said, now, let them drink and forget. Who? Let them drink and forget. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing. What does perishing mean? Wine and beer should be given to those distressed and dying in order to ease their suffering and help them to forget. All right. So there is somebody who should get some strong drinking alcohol. Those people who are perishing, maybe they have a terminal disease and they're about to be out of here, and all they're doing is feeling pain. Then you can get some of that strong medicine. Some people get addicted to it. Percocet, I think it's some of that shit. Give that kind of stuff so they can have some ease in their pain. They don't have to go out with all this pain. I know when I was working as a spiritual counselor for what do they call those things? Hospice care, right? They would give them strong medicines, so that even though they were dying, so they can have some ease when they die, right? Or it says, give strong drink to those who are dying or perishing, and wine to those who are bitterly distressed. I didn't get that. So let's what it says. Those who are bitter to the soul. What does that mean? Come on, give me some more. I need some more. Heavy of spirit, super duper depressed.
It's 2 o'clock.
Anguish, right? In misery, all right? All right, there. So you want to give intoxicants so people can forget their anguish, forget their misery, can liven up from the spirit of depression. These sorely depressed, deep depression. Okay, them are the people you give the strong drink to. The word bitter, mar, describes the physical, mental, and spiritual suffering as a result of affliction, grief, or suffering. These people are in emotional pain. So the idea of bitterly distressed works as well as any translation. You get that? So the mom is saying, look, don't drink excessively, wine or strong drink, liquors, alcohols, whatever, strong stuff. Percocets, all that kind of stuff. Don't do that. But there are people who need to have that. Those people who are emotionally distressed and those people who are in terminal illness, give them strong drink. Thank God they came up with something for me, because I was a person who has a biological tendency toward depression. So they gave me a strong drink, so to speak, Wellbutrin, whatever it is. They call them uppers, so that I won't always stay down. All right, that's a use of strong drink, but I don't be trying to do that too much either. So know that the wise people already know that there's certain circumstances and situations in life that will cause us to look and feel depressed and be out of it. Now, wise one, my son, the son of my womb, the leader of the future tomorrow, right? This is what I want you to do, my son. I want you to open your mouth. Another way of saying it, stand up for some people. Who I want you to stand up for? That's what mama trying to teach you, right? Son, I want you to stand up for some people. Here you go. Open your mouth on the behalf of those who are unable to speak. All right. What does that mean? Open your mouth, of course, we know what that means, is to speak up for, right? And then for those who are unable to speak, here's a side note. It says, the instruction compares people who cannot defend themselves in court with those who are physically unable to speak. You can't defend yourself in court and you're mute. You can't even physically speak. It's just using that they're using this concept as a picture or an illustration, right? Of someone in court. This is, let's see, the former can physically speak, but because they are poor and uneducated and oppressed, they are unable to conduct legal defense. They may as well be speechless. So what the mother as teacher has said, now you need to use your, I wrote it down, what did I say? I said you need to use your, speak up for those, you need to use your position, whatever kind of position you are, like your high position, your manager or a business owner, whatever. Use your position, use your status, right? You know your status. You know what your status is, all right? And use your influence. So then you want to use your social media networks. You want to use your position and authority. You want to use your status as an upstanding person in community and speak up for the poor. Oh my God, what was that brother's name? Ben, oh my goodness, Father, help me get his name. It's not Ben Carson. It might be Ben Carson. Ben Carson is one of those sons who took his mother's advice and speaks up for the brothers and sisters all over the world who cannot speak, don't have the education. Be like another Ben Carson. I'm going to have to check that when my wife and them come. Those are my special guests, my wife and my son. So speak up for them. They can't speak for themselves, right? So this is what it's saying for you to do. Now, let's keep it moving because I want to go quickly. All right, so now, open your mouth on the behalf of those who are unable to speak for their legal rights and for the legal rights of all who are dying. Now, what does that mean? Who are the people who are dying? All right, the people who are vanishing. All right, like people who are housed, they're losing their house, now they're going into homelessness, And now because nobody wants to see homelessness, they're pushing them out to the streets, pushing them under the bridges, pushing them away, right? It means people who are by nature transitory, people who are dying, mortals. But in this context, it would indicate people who are defenseless as opposed to those who are healthy and powerful. You want to do something? You want to use your life well? Speak up for the poor. Speak up for the widows. Speak up for the orphans. Speak up for the children. Use your influence for that, and you will be established as a strong leader. Open your mouth, little Padawan. Open your mouth. Judge in righteousness, plead the cause of the poor and needy. All right, what is that talking about? You got to speak up your mouth about the decisions that are reached to advocate for those people who are poor. They say they want you to also judge fairly, because you're in a position of leadership and you see they ain't got no friends, they don't have no influence. Don't judge because they don't have. Judge because you have, and do it righteously. All right. Open your mouth and judge in righteousness. Make decisions in righteousness. Plead the cause. Advocate for the poor. Advocate for the needy. So what this is saying, be the champion to the rights of the poor and needy, who otherwise would be ignored and oppressed. They are the ones left destitute by cruelties and inequities of life. Isn't that beautiful? Let's stop. This mother is trying to set herself up, and she said two things. Don't get yourself caught up with wine and women, and be an advocate for the poor and needy. That's what she left with. If you, young leader, will do that, I'm going to have a young leader come in and see what he's thinking about that. But if you do that, you'll be well on your way to great success, and you'll see God do mighty, mighty things for you. Yes, He will. All right, let's go. Now we're going to turn our attention to what we call the Proverbs 31 woman. Let me say this right now about this Proverbs 31 woman. When I was single and I was thinking about getting married, I can't remember when I was thinking about getting married. I think I started thinking about getting married in like 20, 25. Maybe 20 and 25. Other than that, I was calivanting all over the world, doing all kinds of things, using strong wine and hanging out with the ladies. If y'all know Hamilton, they talked about how they were slayers with the ladies, right? I had my experience, I had my time with that. But then when I started turning my attention toward, I want a family, and it just came to me all of a sudden. I said, I want a family. I want to be like my mother and father, who were married almost 50 years before my father passed away, and then my mother went a few years after him. She couldn't hardly live on the earth anymore without him. So I started saying, what can I look for? Now, the problem is, I'm doing my glad because I got eyes. And I love to look at beautiful women. Oh my good, beautiful women all over the world. You are my fetish, so to speak, right? I just love to look at women. But should I use the beautiful woman and how she looks and appears to be how I judge my spouse, my life partner? I don't think so. So I was nervous about doing that because I didn't trust my eyes to pick out. Because my eyes might pick out somebody that's beautiful on the outside and ugly on the inside. A cantankerous woman, which we learned about in the previous episodes. I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I used to ask my friends. They still trying to teach me how. Look at that. Look at, she's a 10. She's this, she's that. Or go. They weren't quite ready where I was. So I said, God, give me wisdom, show me what to do. And when I remembered as a youth, I started reading Proverbs. So what I started doing, I prayed to God to give me the Proverbs 31 woman. I said, God, I want this woman. And I want this woman to have these 20 characteristics that I'm going to talk about quickly as we go forward. But what are the 20 characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman? I studied this. You want to trust her in your heart? 1. You want to. She needs to be a ride or die woman. 2. 3, her hands need to know quality. 4, she has a global business concept. 5, she is an early riser. 6, she has an investment mindset. 7, she is physically and mentally strong. Let me slow down for you. 8, you might be trying to write this down. She is an intuitive, forward thinker. 9, she is industrious and not afraid to get her hands dirty. 10, she is compassionate to the poor and needy. 11, she is a proactive planner. 9, 11. 12, she is a creator. 12, 13, she knows the qualities of a good man. 14, she is an entrepreneur. 15, she is a dignified lady in the streets. 16, she is a wise teacher of kindness. 17, she is an excellent manager of resources. 18, she has a nurturing motherly instinct. You want to be able to detect that she has a nurturing motherly instinct. 19, she is a profound lover of God with a personal relationship. And 20, her works speak for her. That's it in a nutshell. Let's go a little bit deeper into what the text says. This is a wife of noble character. I don't know what this means. This is a side note. The book of Proverbs comes to a close with this poem about a noble wife. So this is a poem. A careful reading of the poem will show that it is extolling godly wisdom that is beneficial to the family and society. Traditionally, it has been interpreted as a paradigm for a godly woman. And while this is valid in part, there's much more here. The poem captures all the themes of wisdom that have been presented in the book and arranges them in a portrait of the ideal woman. Any careful reading of the passage will have to conclude that if it were merely a paradigm for a woman, what it portrays may well be out of reach. She is wealthy, aristocratic, who runs an estate with servants and conducts business affairs of real estate, vineyards, and merchandising, and she takes care of domestic matters and is involved with charity. Moreover, it says nothing about the woman's personal relationship with her husband. Her intellectual and emotional strength, or her religious activities. I beg to differ with this guy. I don't agree with him. I think it's something different. In general, it appears that the woman of Proverbs 31 is a symbol of all that wisdom represents. The poem then plays an important part in the personification of wisdom, so common in the ancient Near East, but rather than deify wisdom as another ancient Near East cultures did, Proverbs simply describes wisdom as a woman. Several features will stand out in the study of this passage. First, it is an alphabetic arrangement of the virtues of wisdom, an acrostic poem. Such an acrostic was a way of organizing the thoughts and making them more memorable. All right. Second, we're still talking about this Proverbs 31 woman from a scholarly perspective. The passage is similar to hymns, but this one extols wisdom, not necessarily God. A comparison with Psalm 111 will illustrate the similarities. We're not going to talk about that. It says the vocabulary and the expressions often sound more like an ode to a champion than a domestic scene. Putting these features together, one would conclude that Proverbs 31:10 is a hymn to Lady Wisdom, written in a heroic mode. Using this arrangement allows the sage to make all the lessons of wisdom in the book concrete and practical. It provides a polemic against the culture that saw women as merely decorative, and it depicts the character, the greater heroism, as moral and domestic rather than only exploits on the battlefield. The Proverbs certainly presents a pattern of women to follow, but it also presents a pattern for men to follow as well. That's super duper important, for this is the message of the book of Proverbs in summary. Listen, as I'm going through this, I want you to understand that although it's talking about the Proverbs woman, these are 20 characteristics that you should also find in a man. So you're not left without any help, women, to how to look for a man. You pray for the Proverbs 31 man, as I prayed for the Proverbs 31 woman and received my Proverbs 31 woman. Now, it talked earlier about how it's a aristocratic land person. Well, my status doesn't even allow me to be in that realm looking for the aristocratic, well, unless I use the trickery of falling in love with some aristocrat and some kind of way we do it, and then I become, I don't know, a love slave of the aristocrat. Nah, that's not it. I never saw this as all about the aristocratic, although it does, in its original context, present an aristocrat. Who's that? The wealthy, the blue blood, the money kind, the queen and our children kind of stuff. No, but what's good for them is also good for the common human like me and like you. So we don't have to let them have all the fun. We need to take some of that knowledge and use it for ourselves and practicalize it. All right? So there it is. Now we did it. Now let me try to go in a little bit deeper from my perspective. We learned that it's for men and women, not just for men, right? But I'm definitely teaching this to my son, and I'm teaching it to my daughter. That's a guarantee. All right? Now, first of all, it starts up saying this. What we're trying to do in trying to get all these 20 characteristics on our list, what we're trying to do is almost an impossibility to get all 20 of them on the list. I got one. But it's almost an impossibility. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So you want to try to get at least 15 to 18 to 20 of these things, and some of those things, they can be learned along the way. Some of these things you can get as you grow, and maybe you can even help a person, because a good husband brings out the best in their wife, and a good wife brings out the best in their husband, right? So we get to do those things. So I want to make sure that's right from the front. And here's how we know it is a hard thing to do. What does it say here? The man said, "Who can find a wife of noble character? For her value is far more than rubies." You can't pay for a woman like that. The dowry for a woman like this would be way more than we can afford. In ancient culture, you had to go bring a cow and some land, some stuff to get this wife, right? Because you're taking away this great treasure away from the family, so you got to give some treasure back to the family, a dowry. That's the old school way, right? So when I was getting married, my father was like, "You need to put some money away to make sure this woman has what she needs, and just in case you don't work out, you're gonna repay that family. You're gonna take care of that woman, make sure she's taken care of, right?" That's what my father taught me, and I did it. But I'm not trying to leave my wife. She said, "Who can find a wife?" So that's all about. It's really hard to do that, right? Okay, right. Let me see if they say anything about this value. Woman of valor. So this really, woman of valor 6. A noble character is mean a woman of valor. I don't know exactly what valor is. I think valor is honor. Just put it in and see what it goes to. A woman of valor has great courage in the face. A woman of valor has great courage in the face of danger, and especially in a battle. So this is a courageous woman. That's what is best behind it. A woman of valor is a courageous woman. All right. Now we get that back. So it says, "Who can find a woman of noble character, who has great characteristics?" And one of the major characteristics is courage. her value, her worth is more than rubies. Now we need to find out. Somebody need to go look up and find out how much rubies are worth now. But the idea is that she's more valuable than any money you can pay for, right? If you get this woman. This is the first thing. Now the first thing I said that a woman, the first thing that I said you want to be able to do with this woman, you got to be able to trust her in your heart. Here's how it says that. I'm going to my short list. Yeah. Trust her in her heart. Yeah. I already get the short list, so now I can just go into this and give it to you like I need to give it to you. Her husband's heart has trusted her, and he does not lack in dividends. You don't need to have a wife that you think going to go out on you as soon as you leave town. We talked about her. I can't remember what episode that was. We talked about, I think it was somewhere around episode 3 or 4, where this woman, 5 or 6, I don't know, where this woman, she sent her husband away with a bag full of money, and the first thing she went and tried to get that young leader that we talked about just a few minutes ago. She was going hard after him, right? You don't want to be worried about whether your wife or your husband is going to run out on the streets on you as soon as you out the door. You want to be able to trust them with all your heart. Let's move on. You got that. And by doing that, you're going to get great reward, great dividends. All right? That's going to happen because you have trust in your heart, and you can be out there and take care of business. Look. Here it refers to, again, a more broad sense, but a gain that has come through the work of another. Having unleashed her capabilities through his trust, her work has enriched the husband and the family. You can trust her, right? The next one. She has rewarded him with good and not harm all the days of her life. That one I said this. She does him good and not evil. She's about it. She's not trying to take his money. She's not trying to gank him. He can trust her. I had the Lord just show me how my wife is always for me and never against me. You don't want to get a woman who you think really don't like you or really have odds just because she's fine. You better put that down and get you. If you have to get an ugly one, get an ugly one. It doesn't matter. You're looking at her character. But no, that's a lie. Let me stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. I said something that's not true. I never recommend that a person get somebody that they are not physically attracted to. My wife is fine to me. I don't care what you think about it. She's fine to me. And I love when other people find her fine too. So I ain't mad. Look at her. You can look at her, but you ain't touching her and you ain't taking her home. Okay. That goes for the same for a man. You don't want to be. So I'm glad I corrected that before I got any further. I want you thinking, because you're so spiritual, you're going to get a person that you're not even attracted to because she got great character. But you find her ugly because you're a man. You're going to want to look at somebody who looks good even when they wake up in the morning. You don't want to be like that in the morning. Let me stop. I'm messing with you guys. All right, let me stop doing that. I got to stop acting up and hurry up and get through here so I can invite my guests real quickly. Now, you got that. 13 says, she sought out wool and flax, then worked happily with her hands. When I looked at 13, I said something like, she seeks and recognizes quality material and she works with her hands. And her work with her hands is a delight. She ain't afraid of work. She's not afraid of hard work or doing what it takes to make this family go. She good with that. She works happily. If she got to get out there and work, she's happily working. I'm thankful for the first 13 or 14 years of my 10 somewhere around that, 10 or 13 years. My wife didn't work. I didn't want her to work, but she wanted to. But I didn't want her to work. I had this kind of I said I want to do like my daddy did. But later on, I found out, my wife liked work, so it wasn't a burden. It wasn't something that's to speak down about me. She likes to work. 14. It says this: she was like the merchant ships. She would bring in her food from afar. I interpret it like this: She has a great capacity for carrying sellable products. A merchant ship, she's like a merchant. She has great capacity because ships carry merchandise. And like an importer of excellent quality goods. She's international. She's global. She's not just parochial. She's not just in the neighborhood. She thinks beyond just your local neighborhood. Verse 15. I said that, verse 13, she's industrious. She gets up early to give food to her household. Right? This is what it says there. Let me see how it goes in here. That's how I interpret it. 15. She rises up or rose up while it was still at night. That's early in the morning, before the sun came up, to provide food for her household and portions for her female servants. She takes care of everybody in her house. She takes care of her employees. She makes sure they have what they need. She makes sure her children have what they need. She takes care of her family now. Now, I know there ain't a whole lot of people out there cooking and getting it and making breakfast and lunches for their family. I know that. There are a few men that would do it and a few women that would do it. But the concept that you would rise up early to take care of the needs of your family, you might do it the night before and go on to sleep in. But you're not going to sleep or sleeping in the bed while you should be taking care of your family matters. That's what it is. 16. I say that she has an eye for potential riches and acquisition of real estate, and that she makes income earning. When she makes income, she reinvested into the family, like planting gardens or starting businesses. That's what I say. This one is 16. This is how it reads. She considers a field and brought it from her income. She planted a vineyard. Okay, I interpreted it my way. That's what it says. Let's go my way again. Number 17. She is physically and mentally strong. She makes her arms strong. She works out. She lifts weights. She makes sure her body is strong. She's not weak and frail. You know, that's cute. But that's part of like why I got an attraction for Amazon women in a sense. Like, you know, the strong, hefty. Get away from me, you Ephesian women. I don't want you around me because I'm it's too much for me. I'm just having fun. But not. I like them. I like them. I like the strong character. So it says, she clothed herself in might, and she strengthens her arms. She's not weak. She's strong. She might even go to the gym and work out. She might lift weights. She might walk. She does something to make sure her body is intact. So when her husband comes to her, she's strong. Or when her family needs her, she can do it. My mother-in-law is off the chain with this. She will work you to. I had her. She was helping me move one day to do some stuff. She is so picking up the count. I was like, "Oh, mama, you're doing too much." She almost embarrassed me. I didn't tell her that because she's so strong. I'm kidding. Mama, you know, you ain't no weakling. Not at all. Now, in verse 18, I say this. This is my interpretation of verse 18 before we get there. She is forward thinking. She uses her intuition power to make boss moves. 18. That she is forward thinking and uses her intuition power to make boss moves. That's why I say 18. Even after her family goes to sleep, she is still thinking about what she can do to improve her family. She is forever thinking and ever vigilant. That's what I say about 18. That's a lot I say about this verse. Let's see what it reads. She perceived that her merchandise was good. Her lamp would not go out in the night because she's staying up working on all that stuff I just said about her. I extracted all those things. Now let's go to 19. 19. I say 19 is that she is 19. I say that she is an industrious woman and uses her hands to grasp tools to make product. She puts her hands on things. She's industrious. She's not lazy. She's in okay, and she makes good products. She creates things, right? Listen to how it reads right here. She opens her hands to the poor. Excuse me. She extends her hands to the spoil. That's a tool. She stretches out her hands to the spoil, right? Her hands grasp the spindle. So I'm talking about tools. I'm talking about things that you can use to make things work. Let me just see if the scholars got anything they want to say to me right there. No, they don't want to say anything about that. Oh, wait, they have side notes. Yeah, they have a side note for number. Yeah, they have a side note for 19. The words for hands are often paired in poetry. First means the hand and the forearm and usually indicates strength. And the second means the palm of the hand and usually indicates a more intricate activity. So he's talking about the hand. Remember, I talked about the hands. Let's go to 20. We're almost out of here. I interpret verse 20 to say this. She is proactively gracious. I say 20. She is proactively gracious to the poor and the needy, to expand her hand. She's actually proactively. She is proactive in expanding her reach, and she's proactive in being gracious to the poor and needy. Let's see how it reads in this one. And this particular version is so clunky that you need some interpretation on this. She opens her hand to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. All right, they did pretty good on that one. That's a good translation. And I did pretty good on what I said it meant. So wait, there's a side note. Let's see if there's a side note. 55, there was a side note. The parallel expressions here underscore her care for the needy. The first part uses her spread. The first part uses she spread her arms. In the second, she extends her hand, repeating some of the vocabulary introduced in the last verse. One is more delicate, one is more gross. And I don't mean gross and nasty. I just mean gross, bigger things. All right, we're going to leave 20. We're going to 21. Here's what I said. She is without fear. Remember, we talked about valor earlier up in the thing. She is without fear of the future because she is a proactive planner who puts her family in the center of her thoughts and makes sure they have the best quality materials and coverings. She got it like that. Here's what the scripture said. She would not fear for her household in the winter because all her household were clothed with scarlet. That's the rich stuff. Let me see if they give me some notes for scarlet. 61. The word scarlet is taken in some versions to mean double garments. The question to be asked is whether scarlet would keep one warm in the winter or double garments. The latter is easier in reading. So basically, she makes sure they have enough clothes. And scarlet is kind of like a rich color, so it has the idea of nice stuff, not just cheap stuff. I remember my wife used to drive me crazy, always buying all these coats for my kids. Every time, they got enough coat. She buying another coat and then buying another coat because she has that Proverbs 31 woman concept. My wife is the bomb. Everyone need to have a wife. Like my wife. Everybody. All right, let's keep going. I'm on 21. Yeah, I did 21. Now I'm on 22. So here it is. Let me get 22 and get my interpretation of 22. 22. She makes her own clothes and puts together her own outfits really nicely. She is a class act. She is royalty personified. Now, this is how they said it. 22. Because she made coverings for herself, and because her clothing was fine linen and purple. That's that. She knows how to pick out nice stuff. She's a class act. She ain't walking around here looking like a skank or a slut or a whore or a prostitute. Those are things that, and I'm using those words specifically because those are the words we learned from the previous episodes that the Proverbs talk about. Proverbs are hard on people. You don't come into Proverbs looking like a hoe and they don't say anything about it. You know, some of it we just like, okay, all right. Especially in this wear your underwear on the outside generation that we in. Let me stop now, man. Let me get back into it now. Thank you. We almost finished. Verse 22. I say, no, I did 22. We're on verse 23. She knows how to pick a man with a great reputation. She posts, okay. So this characteristic, the 13th characteristic, she covers and protects her man is one of the things I say. She knows how to pick a good man with a great reputation, and she posts good things and positive things about her man and how to maintain his reputation in the street. She ain't out there posting this nigga did, oh excuse me, this Negro did this or this person did that. She not talking about him bad when she have an argument with him. She not blasting him and then want to. It's not that. She got positivity, and now here's how the ancient said something like this. We're looking at verse 23. Her husband is well known in the city gates. That's really important for you to get. Let me see. Her husband. The first word in the 14th line begins. Let me see. It means that her husband is known. The point is that he is a prominent person, respected in the community. While the description of a wife's work is given in the past tense, primarily thought, though perfect, the husband is described in the present tense with a participle that he's continuously being well known in the street, got a great reputation. Her husband's stature has resulted to some degree from her faithful work and was not confined to the past but continues in the present to frame the passage. Let me stop right there. My husband, my wife made me the man of integrity that I am today. Oh, I at first, because I come from a Muslim background, I wanted to have like 2 or 3 of them, maybe just two women, maybe 2 or 3 women. And I tried that experiment. But when my wife didn't say much about it when I was talking to her, yeah, how you feeling about it? I was trying to fill it out. But as soon as I got married, she shut it down. I mean, she shut it down. She made my life miserable. I couldn't talk to my exes. I couldn't go visit my exes. I couldn't see my exes. She shut it down. And I was mad about it for a long time. But then later on, I realized her explanation was she was shutting it down because she actually knew what I believed to be true. This is what I believe to be true. If you ever love the person, you will always love them. You just will love them differently. She kind of knew that, but she never said it like that. She was like, if you slept with her before, it'd be easy for you to sleep with her again. And I told you, I wasn't no virgin when I got married. So, there it is. And so I was telling you that she, by doing that and demanding that kind of respect for herself, I became a better person. I began to focus my attention. I had to cut. It was painful for me to cut all those people off. I'm just be honest, very painful. Still today, I still have some pain in that thought. But I realized that the power and that I have in the street as a man of integrity. You ain't gonna be out there. You can't. My wife don't hear out in the streets that I'm out there sleeping around with her. None of that, because I keep my hands clean and my heart pure. Like I said, for every one of these episodes, I'm not out there in these streets. And don't come for me, because I heard my wife jacked up a few people, caught them in the hallway, and said, "You got too much interest in my wife." I just heard from the grapevine. She never told me. She wouldn't tell me that. The next thing you know, the people who were liking me, they all of a sudden, they ain't got no parts of me. They don't want to talk to me no more. I told you she's a Proverbs 31 woman, a woman of valor. She ain't afraid. Don't touch her man. And I'm going to say this, don't touch my woman. All right, get it straight. We keeping it together right here for the posterity of our family. Where was I at? I got so caught up on that one. She knows how to pick a man in verse 23. Right now, verse 24. I'm gonna get through it real quickly. Basically, for verse 24, I said, verse 24, I said something like this, real easy, that she's an entrepreneur. All right, she's an entrepreneur. Let me see what 24 says. She made linen garments and then sold them and traded belts to the merchants. She's an entrepreneur. Easy. Number 25, I said this. She is a virtuous woman with strength and dignity. They said this. The ancient one said this. That was my interpretation of it. She opens her mouth with wisdom and with loving instruction on her tongue. Did I do that right? I'm 25. No, I read the wrong one. Her clothing was strong and splendid, and she laughed at the times to come. She's not worried about it. She's virtuous. She's strength. She has dignity. Now, that don't seem like they really go together too well. So I got to be honest with that. I don't like that. Let me see if the scholars can help me out, because I use a different translation. The translation I used was this of 25 when I was doing this study. New American Standard, 31:25. The translation I read says, "Strength and dignity are her clothing. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she smiles at the future." This translation said, "Her clothing was strong and splendid." Okay, and she laughs at the time to come. Why is she laughing at the time to come? Because she already planned for it. She ain't worried about something happening. She already put away 2 or 3 months of stuff so that we can be taken care of. It used to drive me crazy that my wife would go to the store and buy big old things of toilet paper, and big old things of paper towels, and all that, big old things of plate. I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Then I realized her mother taught her that. And so we hardly ever have need for anything in our house because she's always buying in bulk and getting it in there prepared for her. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother-in-law. Thank you, Father, for what you did. Father-in-law, for what you did. And let me honor them by name. Thank you, Donnie Dobbins and Marjorie Dobbins, for doing what you did for training up my wife. So I have a treasure, and I value it. I will never let my treasure go. I say never. We took divorce out of our marriage a long time ago, because I told her back then. Where you going? Because if you go somewhere, I'm following you. I'm going after you. And she kept that in her mind. And she actually tried to go somewhere one time, and I was standing in front of the car. Where you going? I'm about to get. Girl, you better get out that car. That's what I know. I guess y'all say, Pastor O is crazy. And know this, that I am. And I know I'm crazy in a good way. Crazy like a cat. I'm crazy. Verse 26. I say, she is a wise teacher of kindness. Now it makes sense. Now 26 says this. She opens her mouth with wisdom, with loving instruction on her tongue. Good. I actually took notes, guys. I'm going to have to write them into my notes. 27. I say, an excellent manager. I say, this woman is an excellent manager of resources. She is an excellent time manager. That's what I say, right? But let me see how they said it. They said, watching over the ways of her household, she would not eat the bread of idleness. Time manager. I said it, excellent manager, right? She watches over the resources of her household. Let me see what it says in this other version, because some of these, based on what I have. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. So you already know. If she's just sitting around doing nothing, playing games all day on the computer, looking at TikTok all day, you don't want her. You exit stage. Free yourself before you get caught up. She's going to show you herself before he going to show you herself. If all he doing is playing them games, you know, with Call of Duty and all that, he's excellent at that, but ain't got, as my mama used to say, a pot to piss in. If y'all can interpret that for me, let me know. Woo! 28. Let me see. We had 28. 28 and 29 go together. This is what I said about 28 and 29. We almost finished, y'all. She is an excellent mother and wife who is well respected by her children and by her husband because of her efforts to love and guide and protect her family. She excels in excellence and is a woman worthy of praise. Oh, I messed up. Let me do this again. I said. She is an excellent mother, a wife who is well respected by her children and her husband for her efforts to love and guide and protect her family. She excels in excellence and is worthy to be praised. How did they say it? The ancients said it like this. Her husband, it says like this. Her children have risen up and called her blessed. Her husband also praises her. Many daughters have done violently, but you have surpassed them all. Yes. Verse 93, you have surpassed them all. All right, we're on another one. Because I just did this. So, you understand how I got there? I celebrate my wife. My children do too. They glad that they got their mother. Because some things I would have not let them do. They probably had them out on the street. No, let me not even talk about that. Thank God for my wife. That's all I can say. I celebrate her. I rise up out of my seat. If I rise up, you won't see me anymore. But I rise up. I tip my hat to her. Yeah, she the bomb babe. She the bomb. She 9. She 10. Yes. Let's look at this. 30, I say this. She loves God and works on her inner beauty and she loves God and she works on her inner beauty in spirit and her outer beauty as well. She doesn't go around looking all down face and dry. I know there's some denominations like don't use any makeup, don't do all that kind of stuff. I'm not of that denomination. Never was, never will be. Go on and fix yourself up, girl. Now my wife is beautiful without makeup. She get up in the morning, she's beautiful. But I know some people don't have that luxury to say it like that. Now it says this. They said it like this. Charm is deceitful and beauty is fleeting. A woman who fears the Lord, she makes herself praiseworthy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Charm refers to gracefulness and graciousness, favor. And lastly, 31, I say it like this. The fruit of her labor brings in the reward and praise bestowed upon her. The fruit of her labor brings in. The fruit of her labor brings in the rewards and praise because of her quality of being. Here it goes, and we out. Give her credit for what she has accomplished. And let her work praise her in the city gates. Good. We're done. Listen, keep your hands clean and your heart pure. No, I better say this before you go. That was part 1. We're going to come back with part 2 in just a few minutes. And part 2 is going to be the application of what it looks like when you take these proverbs and you impart them into your children, and when you impart them into your life, and when you bless your spouse as a result of that. Come back. Part 2 is coming. So keep your hands clean and your heart pure. You cannot go wrong with that. I'll see you in a few. Let me set up the scene and get, and so you can have part 2. I'm out for just a moment.